call to order the Planning and Development Committee meeting for Monday, February 9th, 2026. Tonight's invocation will be given by Chaplain Mark Miller, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you all could please stand.
Let us pray. Father, we come to you tonight with open hearts, open minds. Lord, we ask you to draw us closer to you. Reveal yourself to us, Lord. Father, keep your hands over this city. Protect everyone here. Protect our officers, fire department, and all first responders. Lord, I ask for your grace in this meeting tonight and your peace to fall on this city. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move right into our public speakers for tonight. Just as a reminder, each public speaker will have 3 minutes to make their comments, at which time you will, it was an error, 3 minutes, at which time you will hear an alarm sound, and we just ask that you bring your comments to close at that time. Our first public speaker tonight is Ken Dickens. Don't see him yet, so I will move on to the next public speaker and come back. Our next public speaker is Denzel Winter.
Good evening, committee, city council members. I finished up last week with the black men soldiers, and I'd like to go ahead this week because there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize that's for us. So I'll just get to the point. There was only one documented woman to serve as a Buffalo soldier in the U.S. Army. She was posing as a man by the name of William Cathy. She was born in slavery in Missouri, and she served in the Army for 2 years. They didn't know that was a woman, and she fought right beside them men. The only way they found out that she was a woman, she got sick, and the doctors found out. And then they had to boot her out of the service, you know, because she couldn't collect her pension. But before that, she was a cook with the Union during the Civil War. So I didn't want to leave my sisters out, because we have made big contributions to this country, whether the person in the White House believes it or not. And I just want to say thank you to all my sisters, all my sisters. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. And I got my eyes on you, but I'm the one that's right behind you. If you ain't got but one person, that'd be me. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next public speaker is Prophet Yusuf.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. in the book of Psalms, the 121st chapter, the first to the second verse. It says, I look to the hills, which comes my help. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. What I want to speak about tonight, that they said there was no African-American officers in the United States Navy. That's a lie. They don't tell you about the Golden 13. In January 1944, there were nearly 100,000 black sailors in the United States Navy, but none were officers. That would change when a group of 16 black enlisted men were assembled at Recruit Training Center, Great Lakes, Illinois. We call it the Great Mistake, for officer training that month. The odds were initially stacked against them, as there was still a strong sentiment within the Navy that African Americans was not qualified. The normal officer training course was 16 weeks. However, these men were expected to complete it in 8, a move that they believed was an attempt to set them up for failure. The Navy also expected a 25% attrition rate, similar to that of white officer candidates. However, the group of 16 were determined not to fail and supported one another throughout the brutal pace of the training. Though lights out was at 22:30 each night, the group placed blankets over their windows and studied together by flashlight, each man bringing his expertise to help strengthen the skills and knowledge of the others. When the course was over, all 16 passed the exam. In fact, their marks were so outstanding that some in Washington were certain that the men had cheated. When the group was forced to retake certain exams, they scored even higher, with an average grade of 3.89, a 4. The highest average of any class in Navy history. Despite the fact all 16 had passed the course, the Navy still wished to only commission 12, or 75% as officers. 12 were selected, and a 13 was made a chief warrant, hence the nickname, the Golden 13. The other 3 were sent back into the listed ranks with no explanation given. So don't believe the lies they say about our people. Our people been outstanding in all fields. And here is a thing about him. And here's my mother's cousin, Frank Sublett. He was one of them. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Our next public speaker is John Tack Brantley.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. I got a brain freeze because I'm struck about Black History Month. We got 2 national holidays, and we got a whole month that we celebrate Black history, but yet we don't see our flags up anywhere. I admire the Hispanics because in the month of September, you see their flags everywhere. I missed the last parade that we was in. We had our African-American flag, and the Hispanics had their flag, and we marched together. Now, I want to bring back to the attention that this country was founded by immigrants. And whether this country was built by immigrants. A lot of people don't realize, but if you look in your history, before the English came here, the Spaniards was already here in America. Donald Trump's father was doing prohibition. He's from Germany. He got his millions from selling prohibition, and also he was hooked up with the mafia from Italy. That's why he got this thing about Christopher Columbus. Now, back then, when slavery ended, the Ku Klux Klan came out with their hoods on their head. Now, our new modern-day Ku Klux Klan is ICE. But a lot of people don't realize, but I bet you if they took off that mask off their face, you'll see a lot of them are Proud Boys, a lot of them are white supremacists, a lot of them is from South Africa that they came here, and a lot of them was the 1,600 people that stormed the White House, and he called them patriots. Now, to the mayor, not the mayor. I was at the hearing for Fab Dance Studio, and the police that was there, everything he said was fabricated. He did not have one evidence for why he went into that place of business and what have you. We need, and it's not the first time that a Caucasian officer have harassed young young black people, because a bunch of black people that show up at a facility, and then had the nerve to say, well, he assumed it was alcohol in that cup. He assumed that it was alcohol. Back in the summer, the chief of police asked about having a meeting with us to discuss our young people. We need that meeting not with just the chief of police, the chief of the fire department, and also the mayor. Mr. Bell, your father took a book out of me during the 90s, was with me. The program he running now, he said he picked it up because we have our black African men are major. We are an endangered species. We need more black men standing up to the plate. So I'm proud to see Mr. Bell taking a page out of what I'm doing. So Gina Minks is running our board. We're looking at Mr. Bell because that's the area that the incident happened in and what have you. We want to find a solution where we can work with the police and not hate the police, because right now our young people hate, they despise the police, and the police abuse their power. I have been to court 3 times last year about driving while being black, and I have won all 3 times. And I got one more time to go again about driving while being black. Our black people got to stop arguing with the police, because that's all you're doing is letting them win. Follow my example, and I'm going to lead the way so we can have a better relationship with 5-0, and so 5-0 don't become like ISIS. And this
Thank
is
you, Mr.
here,
Brownlee.
our flag, we represent our nation. Peace out.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Stephen McMaster.
Hello, hello. My name's Stephen McMaster. You guys know that. I'm here to complain about the city codes and ordinances. You guys kind of figure as much. Maybe 10 days ago, I sent a Freedom of Information Act request just to make sure that I understood what the rules were for all the boards and committees and commissions and councils and whatnot that we have. The response I got from that was, I want to say incorrect, but I don't know, I'm not the city's legal counsel. I would say ill-advised for the continuance of normal government operations. Because what I got back was just links to Municode. Municode doesn't cover like any boards that exist except for city council, and that's only a little bit. So like these 3 commissions that are happening right now, not covered in Municode. So when I send a Freedom of Information Act request going, hey, what are the rules? And I get back nothing. Understand that I am being respectful of what you're doing here by sitting in the back quietly and just watching. I had my one outburst at city council, blah, blah. But again, I think that was justifiable. My stance about knowing what our rules are is not just for me or for you, but it's for the city at large. We need to know what we're allowed to do as citizens when our government doesn't do things that we like, or does things that we don't like. I now have rules from the legal department that allow me to do way more than I think you guys want me to do. So like, you should probably talk to legal and figure out what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. I'll give you another week. I'll be respectful this week. Next week, I'll push some bounds. Like, let's actually get the things that we want codified. Also, just as a side note, we have an immense amount of ordinances that we passed since 2021 that aren't like actually codified in the legal code. If you go to Municode, you have to like go and download the PDF for what got passed in 2022, because apparently we haven't gotten around to the concept of actually updating that in Municode. That seems stupid. There's also a bunch of like obviously little laws that I would love to get changed, but can we just start with the whole 5:30 versus 6 o'clock city council thing? Why the hell is that not changed? Like, who do I need to speak to? How many times? We have a Code and Regulations Committee meeting happening today. Anybody want to bring up the fact that city council happens at 5:30 every single week instead of 6 o'clock as it's supposed to be by law? We should change that law. I'm on your side here, guys. We should make sure the laws that we have reflect what we desire. That's all I'm asking for. I had a couple of conversations with city council members about other things. I really appreciate those conversations. I understand that I won't get all the things that I want.
Thank you.
Let's update the laws.
Is Ken Dickens here? That ends our public speaking portion for tonight. We will move right into tonight's Planning and Development Committee meeting agenda. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Thank you. Item 1 is an approval of the preliminary conditional set-aside letter, which would lead to a rental development agreement with the owner of Rock River Run Apartments. The funding source is the Home Investment Partnerships Program, HOME, and the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Alderwoman Meeks.
Hi, how are you? I was just curious, what was the cause for the delay in the development? Because it looks like we approved this last year.
That they have a preliminary application that they do, and they get approval from IDA to go ahead and submit a full application. And there were some changes since they originally submitted their application, so now we're getting this preliminary letter redone to accommodate those changes. And then that new application is going to be due February 25th, 2026. And then we'll find out in June whether they've been approved or not.
And so, can I get some help kind of understanding why the developer needed to decrease the number of units and then ask for an increase in funding?
Sure. So you'll see that we added a chart here. And if you have other questions as well, Richard Koenig is here from the Housing Opportunity Development Corporation, who is the nonprofit developer and property manager for the new development. You'll see on the chart of changes that I wanted to put in the comments what the reasons for some of these changes were. You'll see that the additional funds were due to escalating construction costs caused by economic conditions. Total development costs have increased, and the number of units were changed because the project size was scaled to the low-income housing tax credit application so that it would meet the requirements of the QAP for Illinois Housing Development Authority, the funder of the low-income housing tax credits.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to need a little bit more clarity on kind of that, but I think that this is a question that I can ask off the record, so thank you so much for that.
Sure, and I can get that for you and submit it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. The item passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please state by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. This meeting is adjourned.
To call to order the meeting of the Code and Regulations Committee for February 9th. We have two committee reports on our agenda, but first let's have a roll call. Here. Thank you. Item 1 is plat number 2 of Peoria West State Subdivision, 41XX West State Street. Is there a motion to approve? Are there any questions or comments on item 1? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Item 2 is final plat of Mercy Health Rockton Campus subdivision. A request has been made by the developer to combine 9 existing parcels, splitting them into 2 lots so they may sell the former Rockford Memorial Hospital building. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second. Mr. Capovilla, I'm wondering if you can walk us through this item, sort of the history of it and rationale for the recommendation to approve.
So this is like it says, there's 9 different parcels here that were all part of what was once the Rockton campus for Rockford Memorial Hospital. And as a part of the sale of the old hospital portion, which I think is about 5 parcels to the north, that would go to the not-for-profit group that they're selling it to, and then the existing 5-story building and the former Rockford Clinic would stay with the hospital. So this plat would parcel those off. It would keep some parcels to the south as well that go with the stormwater detention area for the hospital's property. And then the rest of it would go to the not-for-profit. So as a part of this, we wanted to make sure that there was a condition placed on here, so it would state the hospital use and site was developed and established under prior regulations, and the city makes no representations or warranties related to the following: the sufficiency of drainage for the property embraced within the plat, and substantial conformity with all pertinent laws, rules, and regulations, and the subdivision as conditionally approved. So basically what it's saying is that division of this property could create some nonconformities, and so that this statement then would govern that plat.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on this item? Alderwoman Prunty? Alderwoman Prunty?
Excuse me, thank you.
Sure.
In the event, so the part that's non-conforming, that part will continue to belong to the new owners, or that will be, I'm sorry, help me,
There would be some nonconformities that could be created on both parcels.
on both parts?
Yes.
And if it is, then somebody might be responsible for fixing those?
Very possible, especially if they try to make any improvements in the future, yes.
I know that there was some concerns about this before. Do you happen to recall what those costs were in the past?
In reference,
I thought that somebody had wanted to fix it or something along those lines and decided not to, or thought it was the city's responsibility.
there were some questions regarding drainage, and I think it's been very well aware that most of the Rockfordians would know that the hospital did sue the city of Rockford for one of those issues, but we did win that case in court. So we were not liable.
So the new people or the people who are there will be liable, but can you recall from the past where I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If there were a number associated with that you could share with the new people?
No, I do not have a number.
Could you repeat that question?
I was asking if there was a number or costs associated with whatever remedies they might have to do, if there was a number from the past that they could share with the...
I don't know if any other staff could answer that. Director Cagnoni?
Thank you, Chairman. I don't recall what that exact number was. It was in millions of dollars, but without going back and looking at that information, I'm unclear what it was.
Any other questions or comments? Alderwoman Meeks.
I don't know if this is accurate, but WIFR story stated that it was more than $30 million to repair.
Other questions or comments? I'm sorry, Alderman Bell.
Believe that I may need to look further into this. I'm going to make a motion to lay this over.
Sorry, did I hear well, first of all, did I hear a second? Okay. Second of all, legal.
Under the statute for approval of a final plat, we have 60 days to take action, and based on the schedule and when we received all of the records for this application, today is the 60th day. So if the item is laid over from tonight's meeting, either at committee or at council, then it will operate as if we approved it, and the applicant can proceed with that cause of action through circuit court. So as if we approved it without the note on the plat.
Given that, would you like to withdraw the motion, Alderman Bell?
I have many questions now as to why we got to the 60th day, but...
Or discuss the motion. The motion's on the table. It's been seconded.
Sure. I'll withdraw my motion as well.
Okay, so we do not need to vote on that, correct? All right. So we're back to the original motion to approve the plat. Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, clerk, will you call the roll on this?
Bonnie?
Aye.
Karina? Pronti? Wilkins? Bell?
No.
3 ayes, 2 noes.
Motion carries. That's all we have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Welcome to the Finance and Personnel Committee meeting held tonight, Monday, February 9th. Sir Clerk, you please take roll. Here. Right. Thank you. Under committee reports, item number 1 is approval of vouchers, the amount of $9,842,897.49. Is there a motion to approve vouchers? Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 2 is an approval of lien waivers for trustee properties to facilitate the transfer from the Winnebago County trustee to bidders in total amount of $4,634.25. They include properties at 517 Knowlton Street, 3904 Preston Street, and 3122 18th Street. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 3 is an intergovernmental agreement between the city and Rockford Public School District for the vacation of an existing right-of-way to RPS 205 for the construction of revised access to Lincoln Middle High School from Charles Street as part of the city's 11th Street Phase 2 project and reimbursement of improvement costs by RPS. Is there a motion to approve the agreement? Any questions or comments? Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you. I am curious if any conversation was had as part of this about possibly constructing a semicircular driveway in front of Lincoln Middle School to encourage the use of the historic front entrance versus the side or back entrance. And I ask this because West Middle, the school district came recently to the Historic Preservation Commission to get approval to do just that at West. It would not be for buses, but it would be for parents who are dropping students off. And I know when Charles Street was rerouted 25-ish years ago, I was involved with some efforts at Lincoln Middle School at the time to celebrate its 75th anniversary that included having the city declare Lincoln a landmark, and that group of citizens and parents and faculty attempted to have a semicircular drive installed at that time, but we were essentially told we were too late to the party. The plans for the rerouting of Charles Street were too far along. And I believe I emailed Public Works Director and the Superintendent of Schools several weeks ago, and the superintendent referred that to email asking this question to the Transportation Director, and unless I overlook something, I don't know that I ever received a response from the school district. So I'm just curious, for anybody who has been working on this, has there been any discussion at all if we're doing another road rerouting in front of Lincoln Middle School, if we can't do something to accomplish students entering through the historic lobby rather than through some back or side entrance?
So I don't know if there has been any official discussions over at the school district based on it. What I can tell you is the project that is talked about here is what the school district brought to us. And it was something that had been, on the city side, had actually been contemplated as part of the 11th Street improvement project. And so when they brought us the project, it kind of lined up with what we were planning on 11th Street. It just seemed to make sense. I guess I know that there's a potential circular road over on Rockton. That may be a little bit more difficult on Charles, given some of the speeds and some of the angles of the road, but I'm unaware of whether they vetted that before coming up with this proposal. I know that they have been looking at many of their schools for years and have been working on different plans, but whether that was an alternative that was vetted by them, I don't know.
Mr. Sanders.
Thank you very much. I'll agree with and build upon what Jeremy just said. First of all, I'd point out that while it could reopen what was a historic pedestrian access, there certainly has never been a drop-off drive there. There's never been an access or a circular drive off of Charles Street. It has always been accessed from the pedestrian sidewalk along Charles. And while we have deflected that over time, 20-some years ago, as you correctly mentioned, the sidewalk does actually still pass by that main entrance in much the same way that it always did. Now, it's true, the school has elected not to utilize that as their main entry point anymore, probably as they have expanded parking around other portions of the building. My understanding from a brief communication with their facilities direct management team is that, as you might imagine, they handle access to the building in a much different manner than they might have 25 years ago and beyond, and that is no longer a secured access point. It's permanently locked, maybe emergency egress only, but that access is controlled both by personnel and by equipment they have in place at other doors that they do not intend to relocate internally.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to resolutions. Number 1 is an award of a joint purchase contract for sidewalk de-icers, ice melt to Warehouse Direct in the estimated amount of $40,000. It's a 1-year contract with 3 additional 1-year extensions. The funding source is the property fund operating budget. Is there a motion to award? Any questions or comments for staff? Alderman Meeks.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on your committee. Just a quick question, I believe to the finance director, but maybe to you, Ann, I'm not sure. Can you tell me the balance in the property fund operating budget by chance? And then, if possible, how much was spent out of that fund in 2024? And I don't think in your paper you're going to be able to get that information, so I will kick that one back to the finance director, and possibly you can help me just kind of understand that fund and what's in it and how much was actually spent in '24. And these don't have to be answered to me right away. If you can't give them to me now, it's okay to send me an email later.
Okay, any further questions on this matter or the salt? All right, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 2 is the award of a joint purchase contract for Ford OEM automotive parts and supplies to Brad Manning Ford, an estimated amount of $75,000 based on unit pricing. It's a contract duration is through December 31, 2026 with 2 possible annual extension options. The funding source is the Central Garage Fund. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? All right, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 3 is award of a joint purchase contract for 2026 light-duty citywide vehicles enterprise fleet management in the amount of $701,269. The contract duration is a 60-month term. The funding sources are various divisions' capital lease budget. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? All right. I just had one. With respect to this enterprise fund, we've only seen the one come through where we tried with the leases and then we sold them, I think for actually a profit. Is that correct, on the first batch back in COVID?
That is correct.
And there's been no other sales since then to see how they're doing, right? So, because the cars are still or trucks are still being used?
That is correct.
Okay. But this will be like, I guess, then round 3 kind of?
The third package.
Oh, okay. All right. And no problem so far?
Not so far.
Okay.
That's why we're making the recommendation to bring it forward.
All right, okay, thank you. All right, seeing no other questions, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 4 is award of a sole source contract for loose equipment and supplies to Air One Equipment, an estimated amount of $300,000 based on unit pricing. The contract duration is 1 year, and the funding source is the fire department operating budget. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? All right, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 5 is the award of non-competitive contract for WPLS 190 wheel lifts to Gray Manufacturing in the amount of $60,673. This is a one-time purchase. The funding source is the 2026 gaming tax revenue. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? Alderman Beeks.
I'm just curious, what is a wheel lift?
Who'd like to help with that? Chief?
These are pretty large machines that help lift the truck actually so they can work underneath it, so.
Oh. So, is this for like our ambulance?
Sorry, so we have I can finish answering that question for our shop. We maintenance our own vehicles, and then we also work with other vehicles as well in the surrounding areas, and so it helps us just to maintain our fleet.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 6 is award joint purchase contract for communication equipment to GenCom in the amount of $75,975.60. It's a one-time purchase. The funding source is the Fire Department capital budget. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 7 is award of joint purchase contract for a Deemers Ford F-550 diesel ambulance to McQueen Equipment in the amount of $423,555. This is a one-time purchase. The funding source are the capital lease funds and the Fire Department capital budget. Is there a motion to approve the new ambulance? Any questions or comments for staff? Alderman Beach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this adding another ambulance or replacing one?
Chief?
This would just be replacing an older ambulance, yep.
And are those sold off, auctioned off?
We typically do send those, I think, government deals, right? Is that correct? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 8 is an engineering agreement, supplement number 1 for land acquisition to the IDOT section of the 11th Street corridor improvements to Rockford, Murphy, Tilly in the supplemental amount of $369,267 for a new contract not to exceed $1.198 million. The contract duration is through 2026. The funding source is the 1% infrastructure sales tax. Is there a motion to
move?
Second.
Any questions or comments for staff? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Number 9 is an engineering agreement supplement number 2 for also 11th Street corridor improvements to Rockford, Murphy, and Tilly in the supplemental amount of $242,789 for a new contract not to exceed the $2,366,043. The contract duration is through 2026. The funding source is the 1% infrastructure sales tax. Is there a motion to approve?
So, second.
Any questions for staff? Alderman Salgado.
Yeah, just real quick. Thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to speak in your committee. How many are coming forward like this? Is this the only one, the only 2 items, or is there more to come?
Go ahead.
For the 11th Street project, this is the only one.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 10 is an engineering agreement supplement for the Auburn Street improvements to Rockford, Murphy, Tilly in the supplemental amount of $121,286 for a new contract not to exceed $1,006,661. The funding source is the General Fund 2022 surplus. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions for staff? Alderman Meeks.
Thank you so much. I just want to be clear that the final cost for something like this could be between the $121,286 or $1 million, over $1 million? Is that how that's kind of?
So this is the supplement we're asking for is up to $121,286. So it can be between 0 and $121,286. The total contract, this is a supplement to the original. So this supplement added on to the original contract would be that 1.2. That was already approved. So what's being voted on tonight is the up to $121,286 additional.
Okay, so, yeah, I'm just trying to understand, and this is, so what is the work that's being done? This is engineering work?
This is land acquisition work. So this is when we go for construction, we need a temporary easement. We might need a corner clip from a property. On Auburn Street, we don't anticipate taking anybody's property, but taking maybe a small portion to fit that multi-use path in and stuff like that. So that's the negotiations, the appraisals, the title work that go along with acquiring this.
And so that amount, we're saying that it's,
That could be up to $121,000 worth of work for that type of work. There's 15 parcels with that project.
okay. I think I understand. Thank you so much.
Alderman Kuhnberg.
Thank you, Chairman. This kind of piggybacks on the two previous items as well. I see that when I was going through the agenda, that the condemnation, eminent domain support is not included in the scope of this work. Do we foresee, and you just touched on, having slivers of areas we might have to take, do you see any major eminent domain issues in any of this, either the 11th Street or the Auburn Street project?
No, in the 13 years I've been doing this, we had to do it twice, do something like that twice. That is just to clarify what is an additional service and what's not included in the service. We just, in case a rarity happens like that, they wouldn't perform that. Our legal staff is typically does those services for us.
Just out of curiosity, would one of those two issues be the Whitman and North Main turn lane that we had to do with a vacant property?
Oh, okay, make that 3. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, that was, there was one where we needed a $300 piece of property, and their negotiation was to buy them a $13,000 fence, and we never made an agreement, so they took us to court on that. The other one was the property on the northwest corner of Cedar and Main. At the time we did that project.
Just had to clear those cobwebs.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Moving on to number 11 is an award of sole source contract for to flock safety in the amount of $443,998.16. This is a one-year contract with 3 additional one-year extension options. The funding sources are the Organized Retail Crime Grant and the Rockford Police Department Intel Unit Budget, fiscal year 27 through 29 renewal options. Is there a motion to award the contract?
So moved.
Any questions or comments on this matter? Alderman Meeks.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak several times on your committee. I was just wondering if this continues the flock cameras that we already have, or if this adds to what we currently have.
Chief?
So there is an additional 27 license plate readers that we would be adding to our current inventory.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Number 12 is an award of RFP for towing and storage to Greater Rockford Auto Auction. There are no direct costs to the city for towing and storage services. This is a one-year contract with 4 additional one-year extension options. Is there a motion to approve? Any questions or comments for staff? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Is there a motion to adjourn? All those in favor indicate by aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Good evening. We will call to order the City of Rockford's special City Council meeting for Monday, February 9th, 2026. Clerk, could we please call the roll?
Durkee. Toomberg. Frost. Torina. Prunty. Wilkins. Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 13 present.
Excellent. We will go to new committee reports. Alderwoman Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to reconsider the proposed amendment to the development agreement with First Midwest Group, McChesney Investment LLC, and McDonald's for the establishment of a McDonald's at 4103 West State Street in the amount of $200,000.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I believe Director Hammer, could you tell us, will that come up next week?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, that's correct. The motion to reconsider would be voted on at next week's regular council meeting. It will be placed on the agenda to comply with the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to continue on new committee reports. We have nothing under planning and development, so we'll go to Code and Regulation Committee. Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you, Mayor. We have one item, a final plat of Mercy Health Rockton Campus subdivision. A request has been made by the developer to combine 9 existing parcels, splitting them into 2 lots so they may sell the former Rockford Memorial Hospital building.
Council, we have one item before us. Is there any discussion on that one item? Alderwoman Meeks.
Thank you so much. I'm just curious. I thought that this property was already sold for $1.
Thank you. Which one would like it? Mr. Cagnoni first, and then we'll go to our legal
Fill
director.
me in. I'm lost.
Thank you, Chairman. Alderwoman, you are correct that it is our understanding that there has been a transfer of the property from Mercy Health to the not-for-profit. The City of Rockford was put on notice of that transfer that took place without a subdivision plat. We raised some concerns related to compliance with our codes and ordinances as well as the Plats Act, which then had us have communications with the attorney representing the applicant to reestablish advancing forward the subdivision plat. Much of those conversations took place last week, and that's why we put the item on the committee tonight as well as the city council meeting.
Do we typically approve plats if there are code violations on the building?
So I don't know if I can think of an example related to that. But, you know, what's before us is a subdivision plat. I don't believe it would be within the purview of the subdivision plat to deny it for potential violation of a building code violation. We have been made aware of some circumstances in the building as of last week, and we are currently in the process of verifying how those issues have been resolved, but have not completed an inspection to verify the situation.
Yeah, I just kind of want to understand that because my comfort level is on edge right now if there are issues within the building. And I know that this is just kind of technicalities, approving plats and things like that, but if there's any leverage to be had with regards to how this kind of all plays out for this particular building. There's just a lot of concerns in the community, and so this is when you see this kind of come across the desk, you kind of want to pause a little bit and make sure that all the T's are crossed, I's are dotted, and so that is something that I'm very concerned about with regards to that particular building, especially knowing there are other buildings in this community that have had issues. So if we can catch it I'd love to be able to do that in this instance if possible. So just want to make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Cagnoni, and we have other questions, but could you address just from committee, there were some questions regarding it being the 60th day, just what transpired to that point? I guess either Director Hammer or...
Yeah, Chairman, you know, much of what I discussed in regards to what had taken place has been taking place for several weeks and months. And quite frankly, I think the urgency of moving the plat forward on Mercy Health, you know, died off when they transferred deed to the property earlier. I believe it was in January. We became aware of it, and we put the county on notice, which resulted in a notification that went to them last week. And I certainly understand the concerns of Alderwoman Meeks. You know, Director Hammer and I, as well as our team members, have reviewed the situation to try to determine what puts the city and the community in the best position, and came to the conclusion advancing forward with the plat, with the conditions of approval that we've recommended, is the best position in our opinion, which wouldn't preclude us from, you know, further action related to potential building code violations. And I can tell you that we just found out about a potential concern related to the building last week. It spoke to representatives of the not-for-profit that verified some of the steps that were taken. It's a little bit unclear in regards to what that verbal response fully entails, and why we believe we need to take additional action to get into building to verify whether there is an issue or not. And I can't say whether there is. It's likely that the issue could have been properly resolved and not a concern, or there could be additional steps that the property owner will need to take.
Thank you. Alderman Bell?
Thanks. I just want some clarity on the, how did we get to the 60-day mark with this? This is the first time that I'm seeing it, and we have a special meeting today to approve it. So, like many other things, just, I mean, I have great hesitancy when it comes to just taking a vote with little to none, no information. So, I mean, thank you for explaining what you can today, but would definitely like some more time on this, given the fact that this has been a hot button topic in our community.
Mr. Cagnoni?
I certainly understand, Alderman. You know, this item was originally referred in 2025. It was actually on the committee back in 2025, and we pulled it off based on some additional issues that our team was reviewing, and has been ongoing communication with either the attorney representing Mercy Health or the engineering firm that's preparing the subdivision plat for them. And it wasn't until last week that we had these conversations with the attorney, came forward with some language that we both could agree on to advance this forward.
Gotcha. I mean, I'll speak for myself, obviously, on here, but I think that could have maybe been communicated with us as aldermen via email, so that we are caught up to speed before taking a vote today on this item.
Thanks. Alderwoman Hoffman?
Oh, I got my question answered, thank you.
Okay. Alderman Frost?
Sure. Just so I'm clear on this, and I don't know if this is for our legal director, Mr. Cagnoni, the only thing in front of us is basically approving a plat, a subdivision plat, and frankly, it would have nothing to do with you know, the hot button issues related to, I mean, going back some time on the viability or use of the property and or the sale of the property to anybody. And with respect to a code violation, if there is a code violation, that would be something mutually exclusive from the plat subdivision that the city could still pursue against whoever may own whatever part or parcel, correct?
Director Hammer?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, Alderman Frost, that's correct. There are limited factors for city council members to consider when approving a final plat. And those include the notes in items A and B in our recommendation, the sufficiency of drainage and detention facilities, as well as compliance with the applicable rules, regulations, and codes. So,
Any other discussion? Alderman Bonnie?
Thank you. So just, and I'm not sure that any staff can answer this, but if anyone were to vote to deny the plat, how would that change the situation with the transfer of the property, or would it? And would it have any impact on that? And if we were to deny the request, what, would be the likely result of that particularly from a legal standpoint? I think this was covered a little bit in committee, but just to reiterate.
Good to have it reiterated.
And then I'm going to defer to Director Hammer to answer the last part of it. Understanding that our planning office raised the concern to the county, which resulted in a notification to the property owner related to the recording of the deed that they previously did. There's the presumption that there's a cloud on that title, and the property owner would want to resolve that issue, as well as be in compliance with any rules and regs of the city of Rockford. Could they potentially resolve that outside of this platting process? It is possible that they could go make any necessary adjustments related to the sale of the property, make sure they're in compliance with the plats off, and sort of back up any adjustments that they may or may not made related to the deed that's already been transferred, from what we understand. So I think they could correct it. However, because of the notes we have on the plat is part of the reason that we have brought this forward and recommended approval, because we believe it puts the city in a better position, as well as the community, on putting everybody on notice in regards to how this property developed prior to our existing rules and regulations. As it relates to what happens if it's denied, I will defer to Director Hammer on that portion.
Director Hammer?
thank you, Your Honor. There is a mechanism in the statute that allows the applicant to file a motion for summary judgment in circuit court, whereby they ask the court to enter an order requiring the plat to be recorded as if it was approved. It has the same effect as if we had approved it. But if, as Administrator Cagnoni indicated, we feel that adding the condition as a note puts us in a better position, given the concerns by City Council as well as the community regarding this property.
Thank you. So I think that really spells out that the conditions really are the key and the reason we should approve this. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Durkee. Aye. Toomberg. Aye. Frost. Aye. Torina. Aye. Prunty. Aye. Wilkins. Aye. Hoffman. Aye. Granith. Aye. Beach. Aye. Salgado. Aye. Meeks. Aye. Bell. Aye. Bonnie. Aye. 13 ayes.
Thank you. Next, the appointments are laid over till March 4th. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.